What's up, YouTube, and welcome back to the New to Lawn Care series. By the viewership and by the views on the page, not too many people are interested in this series, it seems. So we may do this one today, and we may hold off on it for a while. But the goal of this series was for anybody new, brand new to lawn care, what to expect coming into the fall season. We've talked about in the past videos. If you've not seen them, go check out that playlist. It's the New to Lawn Care series playlist. We talk about our battle plan for the fall: aerating, seeding, fertilizer, starter fertilizer, Tenacity. We talk about using peat moss. And then we got into some other things about using propiconazole as a fungicide, which will help germination, using RGS to promote root growth. We talked about Tenacity and how we lay down the Tenacity, that it's a pre and post-emergent herbicide, and how we can do that at seeding to help block any of the bad weeds from coming up with our good seed. So be sure and check some of those other videos out. But today we want to focus more on after we've gotten the grass to begin to grow. We're watering it. We're backing off our watering a little bit, and it's beginning to grow. We're mowing once or twice. We may still have some weeds there from when we planted, or we may see some weeds popping up. Let's discuss that really quick. So if you're seeing existing weeds in your lawn after you've seeded, after you've aerated, then likely those weeds have been there ever since the summer. So traditionally, what I've experienced is even when I planted my first cool season lawn, I had some crabgrass, I had some Dallas grass, I had some weeds here and there all over the place, things I didn't even know what they were. And really, when I was listening to the experts on YouTube, they kept saying, these are summer weeds. They should die out on their own. Don't even worry about spraying them. And so they were 100% correct, at least in my situation and what I encountered. So keep that in the back of your mind. Don't rush so much to go and get chemicals and throw it all over your yard when these weeds, likely if it's crabgrass or other things of that nature, it may be seasonal. And so as the temperatures begin to come down in fall, these things may begin to die out and go away on their own. If you have wild Bermuda in your yard, as a fescue and cool season lawn person, we know there's no magical chemical we can spray to get rid of wild Bermuda out of our yard. Likely you have to isolate that area, kill it with Roundup, and tackle it. But we do know that when temperatures begin to fall, that Bermuda is going to brown up and it's going to go away. We can tackle it again next year if it comes back. The best prevention of weeds that I have noticed so far is a thick lawn. Let me say that again. Planting a nice, thick lawn. That means not skimping on your seed when you plant in the fall, but having a thick lawn. You've got to aerate. You've got to starter fert. You need to lay down the proper amount of seed. And having a thick yard, I can tell you, it took away 85% of all the weeds I used to have in my lawn. Just planting grass, period, at a thick label rate of the bag for GCI turf, I noticed a dramatic reduction in weeds. It's almost like there's no weeds at all. Now, clearly, when we have some of our thinning in our yard in the summertime, as the sun comes out, and like here in the shade, as I have thinning in these areas behind me you're seeing, I will see some weeds pop up, and we'll have to handle it. As well as by the road on my house, we've got Bermuda popping up, and we've got maybe some crabgrass trying to sneak in through a pre-emergent. So keep that in mind. Don't skimp on the seed and say, well, I ain't got the money. You want to plant a thick lawn, and that will prohibit most of the weeds you're seeing in your existing lawn. So right here in my shed, this is the product that I either heard from Mr. Alan Hain or Mr. Pete over at GCI Turf, but it's called Triplet. This is what I use when temperatures are above 70 degrees. If you look right here on the label where it says 2,4-D, the word I can't pronounce, acid, 30.56%. That's 30% 2,4-D. 2,4-D is a very popular chemical or ingredient in killing weeds in your existing lawn without hurting the grass. If you go to Lowe's, if you go to Home Depot, look at the ingredient for 2,4-D. This is 30.5%. Look at the ingredients in your Lowe's bottles. I happen to have one over here. We've talked about this before. This is concentrate right here. And so this is Weed Be Gone, and it talks about, this is what led me and my dad. This drove us crazy before we really researched weed killer and herbicide and post-emergent like this right here controls crabgrass. My dad would spray this. He'd spray this whole bottle and say, this stuff lies. He would jokingly say, I'm gonna sue them. They say it kills crabgrass. I spray it on crabgrass, it don't kill them. Well, let's look down here. What does the 2,4-D amount? 6.4% compared to our triplet at 30.5%. This stuff is potent, man. And so that's why we want you to get something. Don't go and waste your money buying this. I mean, how much do we pay for this? It comes down to a money factor. I can't tell you how much I paid for this off the top of my head. I'll put it somewhere to the left and show you what it cost on domyown.com. That's likely where I got this. But at Lowe's, what is the price of this bad boy right here? We'll put that to the left. And so you're getting a really concentrated mix here versus this. Now, when it talks about crabgrass control, there's a chemical right there called Quinclorac at 2.13%. Very, very low. And if we look down here, this is what we use for crabgrass. I just bought straight up Quinclorac because thinking when I first planted my GCI turf lawn, I was gonna have the crabgrass I had experienced before planting. Well, as I just mentioned to you guys, after planting my lawn, I've had pretty much no crabgrass because I use pre-emergence. We'll talk about that in a second. So Quinclorac, if you have a crabgrass problem, I would recommend, unless you're in a pinch and you need something now for whatever reason, this stuff, it's just too weak. I would not waste my money on it. I would rather you go buy triplet or rather you buy concentrate Quinclorac, which is 75% Quinclorac right here, you see? And so you can mix that in a sprayer. Now, granted, you need to have a backpack sprayer, as Mr. Ferguson has, and hopefully you do. It doesn't have to be a big fancy 4-gallon one. It could be a 2-gallon. It could be a pump sprayer. But I got tired of buying. This is why this ain't even been used. It's been sitting on my shelf. I really just need to spray it probably back here in my pine straw or something just to get rid of it because I don't use it anymore. There are herbicides we use that is not for the warm months. It's for specifically the cooler months, and I'll put it to the left of the screen here. It's called Speed Zone. We talked about it here on the channel. There's a different herbicide for different temperatures. Now, Speed Zone is around, I think, whatever the picture shows here, 40 bucks maybe, 35 bucks, and on Amazon, I've noticed here in North Carolina, you can get it at Ace Hardware, and you can get a gallon of it, but it knocks out weeds like no other's business. When it's warmer outside, I need to use a certain type of herbicide. When it's cooler outside, I need to use a specific type of herbicide. So don't be fooled by that. And lastly, we're gonna throw this in the video as well, but we wanna talk about pre-emergent. So we're gonna talk about prodiamine. So Mr. Ferguson has bought a whole concentrate, 65% prodiamine. What is prodiamine herbicide? This is called a pre-emergent. We put this down per our lawn care plan so that we prevent weeds from coming up. And that's why it's important to have a lawn care plan. They will tell you, the pros from either Allen Hain, the Lawn Care Nut, or GCI Turf, or whoever's lawn care plan you follow, they should tell you, hey, when soil temperatures are around this degree, when it's this month, you should be preparing to put down your pre-emergent. There's a label rate that we want to use. We put pre-emergent down, and that's what's going to give you a layer on your soil or underneath on top of your dirt that's going to prevent bad weeds from coming up in your lawn. It absolutely works. We do a early spring application and a late spring application. This is going to cover crabgrass, and that's why Mr. Ferguson, really, I can be honest with you guys, I don't see crabgrass out here in my lawn. We put down a pre-emergent and it seems to have worked well this year. Now, it will wear out and you'll see crabgrass come up, and that barrier weakens, the crabgrass will pop up. But prodiamine is one of the most popular pre-emergents. So you want to research that. Well, there's plenty of videos out there. There's other products. You can buy it as a granular that you push in your spreader instead of mixing this in your backpack sprayer like Mr. Ferguson does. So remember that. This is a whole lot of information that I'm just running over with you, but keep that in mind as well. So to quickly summarize this video, you've got pre-emergent. We put that down in the early spring and late spring to prevent crabgrass for the summer months like now. It absolutely works. Prodiamine is what I use. I have great success. Then we got herbicide. You have herbicide that is called post-emergent. If you hear that term thrown around on YouTube, post-emergent means the weed is already above the ground and you're looking at it. Now, there's two types of herbicides Mr. Ferguson recommends and has used and works. That is triplet and that is speed zone. Speed zone is for the cooler temperatures. Triplet is for the warmer temperatures. And so that is the information I would give to you if you're just starting out. There's plenty of research you can do, but that's what I've gone with. That's what I've been successful with. And as long as you do a thick planting of your seed this fall, likely you're not going to have too many weeds to deal with. Now, it goes back to that pre-emergent. Pre-emergent is very important. I would recommend definitely watch if you're getting into planting this year and this season coming up, definitely watch some videos on prodiamine, what prodiamine does, how it lays that layer on the ground to protect your yard from weeds. It absolutely is critical to time that right. So you want to do it right, and we'll be doing it here on the channel. I'll let you know when I do it. We'll likely show you when Mr. Ferguson does it, so you don't miss that important pre-emergent app. And lastly, just to close out this video, yes, we still got the thinning, but it's not getting much worse. I will say it looks the same as it's looked for a couple weeks. We cut some branches, as I mentioned, me and Miss Ferguson, and be honest, it seems to maybe even have helped a little bit, but it is what it is. The lawn is surviving. It's a little long now. Probably need to give it a mow this evening, but man, it is hot as junk out here in North Carolina. And so I'm not gonna walk all the way up here, but you've seen it. The lawn is not looking bad at all. It's looking pretty good for July. 100%, 1000% better than my lawn last year. And I give all the credit to potassium, and I'll give a little credit to Hydrotane, although I think Hydrotane has welcomed more fungus into my lawn this year. So anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Hope it's helped some of the lawn newbies. Hope you guys are enjoying your Friday. We will see you on Monday with a brand new video. Not sure what it is, being that it's hot, being that content is a little slow. We're gonna try to come up with something. Maybe Dr. Bermuda will come back, but I don't think so. I think he's on vacation. We'll see you guys on the next video. Like, share, subscribe if you will. We'll see you on the next one.